Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be installing the Wolfbox G900. This is a dash cam that replaces your rear view mirror. It has a front and rear facing camera. We're going to be installing that today on my 23 Colorado. Now, if you're installing this on a 23 Colorado, keep in mind that the rear camera comes with a 20-foot cable. If you route your cable the same way I do, you're not going to have enough. They do offer longer cables on the website, but this is what I did. I purchased the premium G900, which is a little bit more expensive. It comes with like a polarized lens and a couple other things over the basic kit, but you basically get rewards points. I ended up having to order that 33-foot cable, and when I logged into my account, I had 230 rewards points. Basically, I was able to unlock a $30 gift card, got the extension cable for free, so I actually saved money over originally buying the 33-foot with the Wolfbox, so it kind of worked out besides me having to wait a couple days for them to ship that out. But I'll show you guys how to install it, kind of how it works, and I really hope you guys enjoy. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to drop a comment down below. I'll do my best to answer it. If there's anything that I forget to mention, please let me know. And if you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. Let's go ahead and get this installed. I'm just going to quickly show you guys everything. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. I don't want it to be too long, but this is the package that the actual Wolfbox comes in. It's got this sleeve over it. It's protected really well and some foam and all of that. Here is the actual mirror itself. It's got these tabs on the top and bottom, and then the rubber straps go over them if you're going to use the strap method. Front camera on it that you can adjust. I actually went with an alternate mounting solution, but we'll get into that. Here are the straps included. You get 2 long ones or 2 short ones depending on the size of your OEM mirror. You get some instruction manuals and stuff like that. You get your 12-volt plug. This is to power the unit if you don't hardwire it. Then you have your rear camera, which just simply connects to the mirror, and then you have the red wire that you can option to plug this into your reverse light so it turns on the lines on the camera when you put it in reverse. Then you just get some hardware. This is to route some of the wires and stuff. Maybe you want to run it along the top of your windshield, something like that. This is the bracket for mounting it in the rear view camera or the rear camera. This is the mounting bracket. You can mount it inside or outside of the vehicle. A cleaning cloth, a trim tool, and your GPS. So that simply just plugs in. So there will be 3 things plugged into the mirror. If you run the GPS, that is also an option. You don't have to. Now, whether you get the basic kit or the premium kit depends on what you get with it. Mine came with the Hardwire kit, the license plate bracket, and a polarized lens for the camera, the front camera. So to help with direct sunlight and stuff like that, that just simply goes on over top of that. Here you have your fuse taps, and you're going to have 2 sets of that. One set is for the accessory wire, one set is for the power wire. You get 4 of each, and they're just different sizes of fuses or fuse taps. So you just find the one that you need out of here, use it, find one out of here and use it. And then the actual harness itself, this is the end that plugs into the camera. These are the ones that will get tapped into the fuse box. This is your ground. You just need to find a good ground location. And then the yellow is your constant, the red is your accessory. Like I stated earlier, you can use the straps, strap this over top of your existing mirror, or you can pick up one of their hard mounts. And they have different options. Mine's going in a 23 Colorado. They didn't have one, but most camera mounts are universal. So I just picked up their OEM universal mount, and that should work just fine. So basically what I'm going to go ahead and do now is remove these little plastic covers. You remove those, and then this will actually screw in its place. And then this part screws into that, so then you can mount it so it looks a little bit more factory. You don't have a mirror attaching over top of your original mirror. Right now I just have the 4 screws that come with this bracket that mounts the arm to the actual backing plate which are just 4 small Phillips heads. And then go in here, you peel these rubber pieces off, and then it will give you access to the screws that are back there, which these plastic plates sit over it. The screws are very small, so once you get this out, just make sure when you're popping that screw out of this plastic piece, you don't launch it and lose it. So now all we had to do is slide the arms out like so, and now this bracket sits on there like so, and we'll be able to mount it like the OEM mirror. First step, I'm actually just going to remove my OEM mirror first, and then once you get the center section removed, you can remove the entire thing. Now we have access to the Torx that is going to remove the OEM mirror. The Torx is just a T20, so you'll just go ahead and loosen that or remove it. You should be able to just slide the mirror forward, and there you go. Now we can take our Wolfbox mirror and slide it over this bracket, and it already has a set screw, so you shouldn't need the one that you removed. So we will simply take our new mirror, slide it on like so, and then go ahead and tighten down the new set screw, and it is nice and solid. I'm gonna leave all of this off for now until I get all the wire routing done, and then we'll get it reassembled up here. Starting with the GPS one, which is just an aux plug that goes, and it's all labeled up here as well, so very easy to understand. And I'm just running it up here, gonna run it along here. The first thing I did was figure out where I wanted to mount the GPS, which is this box right here. So I think I'm gonna go right over here along this edge, so the box will sit something like that, kind of out of the way, not an eyesore or anything like that. So we'll test it there. Tucking the wire up in the headliner, you can actually tuck it around the corner up here, get it down in here, then you can run it right down the seal. And so I'll be able to come out right here, right into this crack here. Just use the tool to stick in here, get it around this corner up here, and then all you had to do is put it in with the tool all along here until you get to the seal. If you just simply remove this side panel here, which it's easiest if you grab it from the lower corner, pull out there, then you can get your wedge tool in here and remove it. This is where we're going to be running the wiring down to the fuse panel. Take my excess wiring that I don't want just laying up on the dash, and I can actually tuck it in here. No visible wiring, tucked nicely down here between the A-pillar and the dash. Next, I'm going to run the Hardwire kit. So here you have a USB-C type that will plug into the top of the Wolfbox. You'll run the wiring the same way over, down, except for you're going to continue going down. In here you will have a fuse box. So we'll just drop the cables down through there, keep it nice and clean. And they just have connection points on here. Each one of the fuse tap connections has the other end of the connector on it. You just simply plug in, and first you need to determine which fuse type you have by looking at your fuse panel, and then once you've done that, you just connect it. The black goes to ground, which we could simply just go right here. A good metal to metal connection, probably going to be best here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ran and just get it down here, and then we'll figure out which fuses we're going to be tapping into. Now keep in mind, if you're running the 12-volt plug, then you can just simply route it as cleanly as possible to your 12-volt source. Unless you just don't care, then you can drop it down to your 12-volt source. All I've done now is I've got the box down here. We're going to take our black wire, the ground, and we're going to attach it here. This is a 13 millimeter, and then I'm going to use my DVOM to figure out which fuse has power all the time, which one is only in the accessory position, and make sure that you're not connecting it to like the SRS or the restraint system for the airbags or anything like that. Make sure it's, you know, your auxiliary port or, you know, something along those lines. We're going to try and find the best source for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get the ground connected, get the wiring down to the fuse box, and then we'll move on. I use Start My Car, and here you can actually click on each fuse. It'll tell you what it is or what it's for. So these first two have constant 12 volts. I believe these two as well. We don't want to go to the body control module or the trans control module. This one's just exterior lighting. This one doesn't have a description. Up here you have miscellaneous exterior lighting. Here we don't want to go to this engine control module. These are just the computers that I don't want to have any interference with. Same thing with the SRS system or the SRS. And so it's a great little website. You can either view this and click whatever you want, or you can go down here, click, and then it'll show you where it's at on the fuse panel. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out which ones I believe are best, and we will get it connected. Keep in mind that there are a few different styles of fuses. You got minis and micros down here, so just be aware of that. Also, if you don't want to use that website or download the owner's manual, if you look in the bottom of your fuse panel, there's a little slot where you'll should find this, and it has a display of the fuse panel, the numbering, and then what each one of them is. Multiple ways to figure out what each fuse is for. So for the yellow, or the constant voltage, battery voltage, I went to F5, which F5 is the driver's seat, and it does have constant power. I checked it by turning the key on, and obviously the driver's seat has power at all times, whether the vehicle's on or off. So that will work. I have one of my taps in here, and I just went ahead and double checked it for voltage, set it to DC, and then I'm just using this screw as the ground, and then using the red probe to make contact with the tip of the fuse, and there you will get your readout. So now that we have that, I'm not going to connect it quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and find which one I'm going to use for my accessory wire. For the red accessory wire, I ended up going to this top row, the last one, which is F25. It's the auxiliary USB, so it's actually this over here, so no power when it's off and power when it's on in the accessory position, so that should be good. Now I can just simply plug the two connections in, tuck my wiring, and then we can move on to running the wire for the actual rear camera. This goes to the back, the camera is connected to it. You can disconnect it so it's a little bit easier to run. Here's the end, another aux port. See where it connects next to that USB-C. And if you're wanting to activate the reverse lines that show up on the screen when you put it in reverse, then you'll connect this red wire to the power side of the reverse lights. So when your reverse lights turn on, it sends power to the Wolfbox and tells it to display the lines, basically. I'm not going to be running that. You can just kind of tape it up or zip tie it up, cut it off, whatever need be. But the main one is just the connection for the rear camera. This is the end that goes into the Wolfbox. I'm going to be running it the exact same way, except this time, now depending on where you're going to mount your camera will depend on where you route this. If you're going to attach it to the back window, then you can run it inside up along your pillars. If you're going to, it all just depends on how you're going to do it. But I have the RSI Smart Cap, and I also have a shelf built into the rear, so I can't see anything out of my back window. So the idea of this is to get myself a view from my rear view camera, because right now all I'm using are my side view mirrors, and it's kind of a pain to just activate the mirror in the truck. Plus I'm going to be running the rigged swing out, so I'm going to have a big tire right here, and that is going to directly block this camera. So for now I'll be mounting the camera to my license plate, but once the swing out is here, I will mount it on the swing out, so I'll still have view behind me. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is run the wiring down, and then we'll be going out this grommet here and going into the engine bay and under the vehicle to the rear. I've just routed it through the grommet with my other wiring, and it pulls out down by the battery. So we have all the wiring here. We are going to actually drop down. I'm going to put some sheathing on this as well to kind of protect it around hot areas or anything else. So we're gonna run it underneath the truck to the rear. New cable came in 2 days, and this should be an extra 13 feet. So it better reach the back this time. So exact same sheathing. I put on a little bit more, obviously, because of the extra length. Coming through the grommet down there on the firewall. I'm gonna drop it down, keeping it away from any hot parts. And then I'll run it along the frame where I showed you guys before. And then once I get it ran, I'll show you guys where it's all at. So it comes down. This is the power and ground for my inverter in the bed of my truck. And that is also the stock wiring harness. And it runs all the way to the rear. It does flip-flop from one side of the frame to the other. It goes up. We're at the rear of the truck now. I have it up above spare tire, up above that metal plate. It comes out right here. And all I've done so far is I grabbed the back camera. I put it on the license plate bracket. I'm gonna mount this on the back side of the license plate. And then drop the wire behind the license plate. And then plug it in, and we'll double check to make sure everything works. It just sits behind the license plate and passes through the back. Still got the cover on it, I'll leave it for now, but we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and check it out. So I've been using this the last couple days just with the front camera, so I already know it works. I did get a new GPS sent to me because it wasn't picking up any GPS. So they sent out a new one, and so I just have that laying there. And I checked multiple different locations with my old one to make sure that the location wasn't the problem. So we'll see. And then when you get this, it'll have like a really loud like turn on noise, and then every time you tap it'll make a noise. I have it shut off and the volume turned down. You can see it'll display the time. This is with the GPS, the time, date, the speed, direction, and then up here you'll see the timer. It's constantly recording. It's set on 1 minute intervals, so it'll do a 1 minute clip. You can set it for like 3 or 5. There you can see it's set at 4K and 2.5K for the front camera and back camera. And that, if you simply tap the screen, it'll pull up the menu where you can stop recording, you can take a picture. This is for emergency recording. This is where you can look at your playback videos. Then here are your settings, and then if you want the microphone on or off, and then up here it'll show you if the microphone is on or off. And then if you simply move your finger up and down, you can actually look up and down with the camera. We'll go into the menu real quick. Settings. So you can change your resolution, split time. So there you can see 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute videos. Sound record, you can turn that on or off. The sensitivity, if your vehicle gets hit. I still gotta go through and change a bunch of this. Your parking monitoring, that it can record 12 hours or 24 hours, or just when the sensor is triggered. In order to just turn off the screen, you can just tap, and then it kind of turns into a regular mirror. Tap to turn on, and then if you want to actually shut it off, you press and hold. The click tone is there, you can turn it on and off. The volume for when it's turning on and off, the entrance and exit noises it makes. Screen brightness, display mode. Display mode is going to be whether it's showing just the front, just the rear, front and rear, or rear and front, whichever direction you want it. Then you can adjust your rear image as well. You can flip it or mirror it. Time, hour, whether you want 24-hour or 12-hour. Fatigue reminder, every 2 hours of driving it will tell you, make sure you're not falling asleep. Kilometers or miles per hour. GPS information. So right now it's picking up 2. Earlier I checked it and it was picking up 3. So I think it's just where I'm sitting right now, but before I couldn't get it to pick up any, so this is a good sign. I might drive around for a little bit after this and see if I can get that to work. GPS display, if you don't like all that stuff on the mirror, then you can just shut them off. Language, format, SD card, factory reset, about, and help. And then if you just swipe one direction, now you can see the rear and the front, or if you swipe again, the front and the rear, or just the rear. Then if you swipe again, you come back to the front. So I'm really happy with it. I think this is going to be amazing, especially with my RSI Smart Cap and rear swing out with the tire on it. I'm not going to be able to see anything, so the OEM mirror was kind of useless anyways. So this is a huge help, and it's a dash cam, so it's even better coverage. So I think this is a great option. If you guys are interested, I'll have it linked down in the description for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, I'll do my best to answer it for you guys. And if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.